folks. How you going? Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the cheers. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness me. What do you know? Seriously, all that applause just goes to my head every now and then. First of all, in the chat, welcome aboard, Michael Ann. Nice to have you here. Thank you for popping in. You have won the Fair Star 582 trillion points, which is absolutely worth sweet nothing. Anyway, because the Fair Star is no longer sailing. But we can continue to award people with their awards. Folks, today it is the day after. It is Wednesday. It is Hump Day. Yesterday was Tuesday, the 25th of January, which is a rather auspicious date in the Australian and New Zealand calendar. The reason for its importance is that it is a thing we call Anzac Day. Anzac Day. Why is Anzac Day so important? It is to commemorate the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps who died at it was actually set up in World War One, and particularly related to an area called Gallipoli, which is in Turkey, or off the Turkish coast. And so the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps were fighting there along the side, on the sides of the British, of course, and a great deal of soldiers lost their lives in the First World War. So Anzac Day, we commemorate not only every single war that Australia has fought in, but it is also to commemorate our diggers who have come home, and it is a memorial time, and it is also a commemorative and a time to say thank you. So to those who have paid the ultimate price, we will remember them. To those that have come home, thank you for your service. If it wasn't for you, we would not be living in this safe country that we have today. So folks, with that in mind, I'm just putting that out there. I'm keeping it in the background so that we are all aware and we know what's going on, that we are commemorating our fallen and those that have come home. So we can now talk about all things pertaining to cruising, but also let's think about at the back of our minds. And I don't want it to stay focused on the down, because it is a sad commemorative time, but also let's think about looking forward, because I know that on a lot of cruise ships, particularly Carnival, have a special opportunity for members of the armed forces to go aboard and get some discounts on board the ships, and also they have a special ceremony on board ship that commemorate and remember all the fallen soldiers. So I think that any cruise line that goes along that path these days is awesome, and we really appreciate the commemorativeness. Anyway, I know that there are 6 people in the chat, and so right now, with 6 people in the chat, all I can see is one person chatting. So it would be nice to hear from some of the others in there, if you have had any people that you've had the opportunity to come to know that have had military contacts, whether they be Australian military or US military or who cares what military, but an opportunity to thank them and say g'day. Well, I've got 2 extras here. Jimmy, welcome aboard, buddy. Nice to have you here, and thank you for popping in. And Z, my friend, how are you? I believe you're up to about 105 days, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy, um, um, as I said earlier on, we are commemorating Anzac Day, which is our memorial. So we want to thank all the fallen, but also we want to thank all those who have come home and have actually assisted in keeping our freedoms. So you usually, Jimmy, you usually end up with your flag. I'm going to say I'm not going to bring up our flag because there's a bit of contentious issues around the flags, but I am going to say we Australians are really proud people as well, and so we we thank our diggers so much for all the service that they've given, and and with that in mind, yes, we do have a couple of logos up there, but I would like, on behalf of Helping Hands for Cruising and also the Down Under Cruisers, to make sure that everybody is aware that we owe our lives and our indebted gratitude to the fallen and to those people that did serve, whether they served in the military or they were frontline supporters, as in fireys or paramedics and so forth. We have a friend who is ex-military, was, and also became a paramedic, and I can tell you, doesn't matter which way you look at it, you will be affected one way or another, whether it be through the military or whether it'll be through PTSD, being the front line on a on an ambulance or a fiery or whatever. Jimmy, thoughts and prayers to every service member, past and present. Many have given the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom and liberties, absolutely, and so we thank them. But I don't want this whole chat to be a downer. I would like to take the opportunity of bringing some humor, if you can, and some lightheartedness into it, because you know what? Each one of those diggers, and whether they be Aussie or New Zealanders, we'll call the Aussies and New Zealanders diggers, but even the U.S. guys and South Africans and all those that fought in the wars, those guys, before they actually held a weapon, you know, were jovial, fun-loving, and would have thought that people would have gone and yes, thank them for their service, thank them for being in the front line, but also would have done it in a way. I mean, we've just lost a great comedian, a person by the name of Barry Humphries, and Barry Humphries has done a number of characters. One was a character that he did was a lady by the name of Dame Edna Everage. For those of you that are across the pond and don't know who she was, look it up. Dame Edna Everage, and also Les Patterson. Couple of characters that this Barry Humphries did, and I'll tell you what, typical Australian format. You know, Aussies will go in with a straight face, but when they come out, they want to be laughing. You know, phew, we were lucky we lived on that one, or we were lucky we did what we needed to do. We followed our orders. We were lucky, and yada yada yada. At the end of the day, Aussies tend to be a little bit more light-hearted about it. Yes, they take things seriously, but they are a little bit more light-hearted about things. So I'm asking folks, please, you know, I don't want this to be a somber hump day because it is hump day, and we're headed into the weekend and excitement, but also we should understand exactly what these folks of ours have done. And they are heroes in my mind. Anybody who goes out to do anything to help anybody is a hero in my mind. So, Jimmy, you're a hero to me as well. Z, you're got to be the most amazing hero I've ever met, because I know that, what are you? I think you're sitting at 105 days, I'm hoping. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I know that you've done amazing things too. So anybody who's done something for the betterment of mankind, I will look at and take my hat off to. We are all inspirations. It's my pleasure, Jimmy. It's my pleasure. So, I've just finished my iced tea, and it was peached iced tea. That's what I had to drink just before I came on. So if I seem a little bit excited, yeah, no, okay, I'm only joking. If I seem a little bit of excited, that's because I've had a good session of peached iced tea. It was only a small glass, but anyway. Bit of news in terms of cruises in Australian ports. Right now we've got the Coral Princess, which should be due into Sydney on the 30th of April, and then I think that is its last stop, because then from then out of Sydney it goes straight overseas, and it leaves on the 30th as well, so I think that's going to be a repositioning cruise. We've still got the Carnival Splendor on the 2nd of May, and I've got a feeling the Carnival Splendor is going to stay around for a while. And then, of course, the Pacific Adventurer, any of the P&O Australia cruises are going to hang around Australia because this is home port. And so they'll be doing cruises in those various areas. Melbourne right now is shut down until September the 15th, when the Coral Princess returns to Melbourne. So there we go. That's cruising out of Australia right now. Having said that, I know that and one place I would really like to get to at some point would be Pearl Harbor. Have a look at the memorial there. See some of the ships that are there, and also find out how come the Hawaiians and the New Zealand Maoris have so much in common. It would be really interesting to see. Yeah, because they kind of speak the same language. They kind of have the same dances. Yes, it is the Pacific, but there's a big distance between Hawaii and say New Zealand or Tonga or Fiji. Well, not so much Fiji, more the Tongans and the Samoans are closer to the New Zealanders. And then Fiji, the Fijians will pick either New Zealand or Australia. So, yeah, it is what it is. At any rate, what else can we talk about other than exciting news? You know, I know that the military services around the world are doing the best they possibly can to keep their various people safe, healthy, and happy. And I can only say to anybody who's done anything, thank you. I would have been in the South African Army if I hadn't come to Australia. So good news is that I came here because I didn't quite believe in fighting for the then South African ideology. So at age 17 and a half, just before I was due to do my national service, and just after I'd finished my matriculation, I was on a plane out of there into Australia. Now, if I was made to do national service in Australia, I would have done it gladly, because I know that the fight there would be something I would be believing in, and Australia wouldn't be at war anyway. South Africa was. And yeah, well, that's it. That's all I can. That's all I can say about South Africa. That's all I want to say, really, because it's no longer home. Has not been home for the best part of 45 years. My parents were told they were making a big mistake coming out here. They were later told that that was the best mistake they ever made, and I would concur with that thought process. It was the best mistake they'd ever made because we have the best life here in Australia right now. As a result, um, I've I've got the best of both worlds. I have a gorgeous wife, I have gorgeous kids, and I've got a terrific lifestyle here. So, which would have been a lot better than living back there. I would have been constantly looking over my shoulder. Talking about looking over the shoulder on the news earlier on in some of the channels. There's a place in South Africa called, or it was known as Port Elizabeth. It's had a name change. Um, Port Elizabeth is where they manufacture a lot of motor vehicles for export. Um, and there was a cruise ship that went into Port Elizabeth. They were on a tour, and as they were on a guided tour around Port Elizabeth, the tourists were all, including the guide, were all robbed at gunpoint. Um, it's not a life I want to live. It's not an environment I want to stay in. That's why I'm pleased that we're here in Australia. And I'll tell you what, I just wish that the Australians don't find out how good it is, because you never know what might happen. You never know what might happen. Excuse me, just for 1 second. Oh, that feels better. Well, kinda. I've got to fix the throat. I'll get that fixed shortly after we do our live. Anyway, um, enough about enough about these things. Let's talk about some good stuff. In on the Helping Hands for Cruising side, we have been fortunate enough to get a couple of cruises come up. We've got in 198 days. Oh my goodness me, Kenny. 198 days. We will have the Ford Man and Destination Delight group cruise, which will be happening out of Charlotte, I believe. And on that cruise, they are looking to make it a Helping Hands for Cruising group cruise. At the moment, we're looking for a recipient. So if anybody knows of anybody they'd like to put up as a recipient for Helping Hands, all you need to do is put up a video to the board of Helping Hands for Cruising that nominates a person to be a recipient, and let's see how we go. The board will make their decisions, and then that recipient will either be accepted or rejected. Okay, 244 days to Christmas, 249 days to New Year's Eve, and then we've got 543 days to the Amethyst Haze group cruise, which is also a Helping Hands for Cruising group cruise. And that one is going, let me see, that's going to be on the, I believe it is the Carnival Breeze. And that's going to be an awesome cruise. Not sure where that goes, but it's going to be awesome because Amy's in it. And then we've got, in 619 days, the Ducks group cruise in association with Helping Hands for Cruising. That one is going to go out of Sydney on the 2nd of January, do the South Pacific, which will include places like Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and Fiji. And that will be on the Celebrity Edge, I believe. Well, I do know. I know that one because that's the one that we booked. we've set up. Um, and it is going to be the Ducks Group Cruise, so I should know. Very quickly, g'day Ron, welcome aboard, buddy. Nice to have you on board. Then in 780 days, we've got the Ocean to Ocean Group Cruise, and that one is going from Seattle to Alaska. I'm not sure which ship it's on. I can find out, and I can put that up. But that is for us. That's a bucket list cruise because Alaska's always been a place where both Ilana and I want to go to. So we'll see how that goes. G'day, Sir Paul. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you on board, and thank you for listening while driving. Please stay safe. We wish you a very safe day today. And I believe your lady should be coming into the chat fairly soon, I believe. At any rate, for those who've just popped in, yesterday was the 25th of January. The 25th of January is Anzac Day on the Australian calendar. For those that don't know, Anzac stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. So it is a commemorative day where we remember the fallen from World War I and all other wars that have come through. So for those that have paid the ultimate price, we will remember them. And for those who have come home, thank you for your service. And we want to let people know that we will not forget those that have lost their lives to make our world, our country, and also the U.S. a prosperous, free environment for us to live. I wish the politicians would listen to what our boys have done, but boys and girls, I beg your pardon. Wish they would listen to what our boys and girls have done, but at the end of the day, they will do what they will do. Ron's saying g'day to Paul, so there we go. The good news is, as I said earlier on, some of the cruise lines, including Carnival, because we didn't actually make it, but we were aware that there was a commemorative or a memorial service on board the Carnival Horizon when we were on board the ship, and I believe there's one on every sailing of those ships where they have a remembrance for all the it's some armed forces celebration, really, is what I think, and where they include all the forces, even the frontline first responders. So they are just as important. Paul is saying, howdy, Ron. Paul, keep your eyes on the road. You can listen, but keep your eyes on the road. I want you in one piece. Was that tough? Sorry if I was tough. Really sorry if I was tough. I don't like being tough and strong to people like Paul, who have the most incredible voice and play guitar better than me, and has gone on more cruises than me. And shut up, Sean, move on. All right. Excuse me. Okay. So, some of the things that we're hoping that you guys will do when you do come out in 619 days, that you actually make it in 615 days. Come and watch the fireworks off the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which you will find absolutely amazing. It goes all the way from the centre of Sydney onto the Harbour Bridge, so it includes places like Darling Harbour. Absolutely amazing. Okay, G'day, Philip. Welcome aboard, buddy. Um, Keep July the 22nd, 2028 free. It is a total solar eclipse. Sydney free. There will be cruises through the eclipse. How can you sail through the eclipse? The eclipse is in the sky. How can you sail through? Okay, shut up, Sean. How are you, Philip? What ship are you going on in the near future? And by the way, anybody who is cruising fairly shortly, when are your cruise days and where? Philip is, whoops, g'day Nick, welcome aboard, buddy. Nice to have you here. Philip is saying the eclipse goes directly over Sydney and Darwin. Wow, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. So it'll go a little bit funny in Melbourne because we're in the same trajectory. We were not affected by the eclipse when it went around Perth. So now I like Nick's ducks. He doesn't put 2, he doesn't put 5, he just puts 3. Every time he just puts 3. So thanks, Nick. Welcome aboard. You're getting ready, I hope, for your little sojourn down under. I think you're going to have an absolute ball. You're going to be taking in Perth, Sydney, Adelaide, and Darwin. So that's going to be really exciting. Yeah. And I think Melbourne, Sydney as well, from what I can see. Philip is saying that he's not booked any new cruises yet, but still looking at January to February 2024, leaving Melbourne. Hey, Philip, look at the 2nd of January 2025, out of Sydney. Nick is saying that he finds it interesting. He did not know the reason you guys are considered being down under is Australia and New Zealand are the lowest countries in the world. Well, no, the second lowest, because the lowest is actually Antarctica. But yeah, we'll go with that. We are down under anyway. I mean, whenever I look at anybody on the screen, I have to turn my head this way so that I can actually be upside down so that you can see me the right way. Or I can see you the right way. It is what it is. What can I say? Stream Elements is saying, welcome to Hump Day with the Down Under Cruisers. Please support our channel so that we can support Helping Hands for Cruising. G'day, Cookie. Welcome aboard, buddy. Nice to have you on board. Cookie, just for your info, yesterday was Anzac Day. Today is the 26th of April. Yesterday was the 25th. Anzac Day stands for, is to commemorate our fallen comrades and also those who came home. We say thank you for all their help. Anzac is to commemorate from World War One, all the fallen soldiers, and we just adopted it for every other piece of war or skirmish that we Australians have gone into. So that is why we have, lest we forget, up in the background there, it is there because we are commemorating our fallen. Things down under are getting cooler. We are currently sitting on 36, 56 degrees currently. We had quite a pleasant day. We had close to 70 degrees today, but we're sitting on 56 right now, so we're cooling down. And things are getting okay. Oh, and by the way, folks, just thought I'd let you all know, today my dad had a procedure. He had his pacemaker changed, and he has been, his blood pressure's been a little bit low, but apparently he came out swinging with both arms, and should be on the up and up. So there we go. Um, okay. Today, Nick is contacting an attorney. The way he got screwed over with his car repair seems fishy and possibly illegal. Consultations with them are free, so it doesn't hurt to ask. Well, good luck, buddy. I hope everything works according to plan. I hope you get what you deserve. I think your car should be good. Okay. Cookie said he picked up 3 new tools this week: a 10mm, a 22 LR, and a .22 mag. Well, mate, I hope you enjoy them. I hope you have a great time with them, and stay safe is all I can say, because we're not allowed those things down here. Unfortunately. Ron is saying g'day to Cookie, so there we go. So good news is that things are on the up and up down under. We are allowed to cruise, but we need to cruise. First of all, we need to prove that we've been vaccinated, and we also need to have masks on board. So masks are not compulsory; they are suggested. Ron is saying, "Hey Nick, sucks about your car," and "G'day Lily, welcome aboard. Nice to have you here." I hope you enjoy our little soiree today. Cookie's saying g'day to Lily. Folks, the reason why I'm putting up every single message that comes out here is because we are currently broadcasting on 4 channels. The Down Under Cruises, Helping Hands for Cruising, and 2 Facebook channels. So there we go. Lily said g'day to Cookie, and Stream Elements is saying you can tip using the link https streamelements.com//tip, and any tips that we get greatly appreciated, but any tips that we get go straight back into Helping Hands for Cruising so we can get more recipients on board our cruise ship. So currently Helping Hands for Cruising has put 3 recipients on board a cruise ship. The first one was Ford man Kenneth Oakes. The second one was James and his lovely wife Cindy Catanese. And the third couple was Scott and Amber Hicks of Kicking a Country. But what's interesting, and this is the thing that really, really gets to me, that fills my heart like you would not believe. There is a group cruise coming up in 198 days, and that group cruise has been put on by Destination Delights in conjunction with our very first recipient, Kenneth Oakes. So we have gone full circle. That is absolutely unbelievable. Hey, Cookie, are you listening, mate? Ron's got a message for you. Please send him your phone digits to his email. He was looking at his contacts the other day and he noticed he never got it from you. So can you please send it over? And if you don't do that, Cookie, I will just have to come over there and I don't know. I can't make up silly punishments. Lily is saying g'day to Ron. Cookie's saying it's a done deal. And Ron is saying g'day to Lily. So there we go. See, nobody's going on a cruise in the near future. Z, I thought you had a cruise up fairly soon. It's my pleasure, Ron, anytime. I'll be as helpful as I possibly can. So there we go. How is my dad doing? Apparently he's doing okay. I haven't had a chance to speak with him. He came out of the operating room with his procedure, and it was 4:45, and his blood pressure was still low. They were keeping him overnight, and he was just groggy, and I think that was partly because of the anaesthetic. But all they basically did was just change one pacemaker for another. They left the cabling in there and connected the new one to the old cabling, so everything seems to be working well. So that's where we're at the moment. Cookie is saying, Ron, listen up, buddy. Cookie is saying he sent the message. Thank you, Lily. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I will actually talk to him first thing in the morning. Hopefully he will be in a better frame of mind, or a bit more awake, I'm hoping. We used to have a politician by the name of Malcolm Fraser. In 1975, Malcolm Fraser became the Prime Minister of Australia. And one of the statements that was asked was, one of his response to a statement he said was, "Life's never meant to be easy." Well, I can sure tell you, Malcolm, your words were never truer than they are right now. Life was never meant to be easy. So we take with what we've got and we grow with it. And we make the best of life, is all I can say. What's that song by Monty Python? Always look on the bright side of life. Life's a piece of when you think of it. Ron's giving Cookie the thumbs up, so there we go. Which I hope, Ron, you have now seen, and you will now enter it into your phone, and you will not lose it. I hope I make my my statements clear. Because if you lose it again, I'm sorry. I'm protecting Cookie's privacy. I will not ask him to send it to you again. Cookie, can you send it to him again, please? Oh, I just said I wouldn't do that, eh? Whoops. My apologies. Yes, well, I can see Philip has got a statement coming up. Somehow, if I move the right things work. Lily is saying our friend Troy had surgery, and also prayers for a speedy recovery. Yes, I'm aware of that, and I just wish Troy everything of the best too. I believe he had spinal surgery. I hope he's in a better place anyway, in a much better frame of mind. Philip, my first job was hang on, I've got to make this bigger because now I'm struggling to read. See, it's what happens when you become an old fart. My first job was, in his first job, he was a theatre orderly and went to pick up a patient who he thought was listening to a Walkman and said, "You need to leave it." He told me he cannot do that. It's his pacemaker. Oh, yeah. Lucky I did not take it off him. Yep, very lucky. It's a pleasure, Ron. See, I help you out, my friend. Cookie, you got him. That's it. Cool, good stuff. Philip was saying, when I had my circumcision, I could not work for a year. Mate, you're no different to me. I couldn't walk for a year either, aside from the fact that we were both 8 days old when we had ours. Now, by the way, the guy that you had the pacemaker, my dad's pacemaker was inserted in his chest. So the guy who had the pacemaker, who you thought was the Walkman, had it connected to the wrong ears. Yes. it shouldn't have been connected to these ears. It should have been connected into the heart. There we go. Smarty pants. Excuse me. All right. So, Philip is saying that was 40 years ago. They were a lot bigger. What are you talking about? The circumcision or the pacemaker? I'll leave it at that. Um, the problem is that when you do have a circumcision, you lose about a third. So what can I say? Anyway, let's get off this topic before I get myself in big trouble. Oh, you're talking about the pacemaker. Okay. Yep. No worries. Are you saying to me that it was external to the body? Because when my dad had his first pacemaker, that was 30 years ago, and they stuck that in his chest. Yeah, that was interesting. Anyway, such is life. We are all into better places. So, has anybody heard the latest news about the Grand Princess? There was a fire. Apparently, there was a mild fire on board. And they had a little bit of lack of power. They have been able to fix that, and the Grand Princess should be quite happily on its way into Seattle fairly shortly. Also, I'm back. Was getting ready for that four-letter word. Yeah, I know. I was trying to be polite because I know that I would get a negative statement. Lily said, hello, Jim. Jim saying good day to Lily and also Cookie. Yes, so, but then that's another story. My dad at 21 years ago, oh no, close to 30 years ago, having his first pacemaker, plus he had a quadruple bypass then. And he had another one 21 years ago as well, 21 years after that. So there we go. Medical assistance is amazing. Dad's 86 now, Mum's 83. And they are, well, aside from the odd moment where Dad has to get his oil and grease done every now and then, Mum's doing pretty well. Okay, Stream Elements is saying we'd like to thank all of you who donated to Helping Hands for Cruising. Please continue to give so that we can have more recipients joining on our next cruises. Now, as I did say, 198 days to our next cruise, and we need another recipient. So any help would be greatly appreciated. Cookie is saying g'day to Jimmy. Lillian is saying that she's happy that Helping Hands for Cruising has gone full circle with Kenny. You are awesome, and so is Kenny. Oh, Lily, thank you so much. You know what? What made our hearts sing was that Kenny changed our lives as much as we changed his. I believe that Matt and Kimbra from Fantastic Cruising changed both James and Cindy and also Scott and Amber's lives as much as they changed everybody else's who was involved with the cruise. Amy is doing something quite exciting, and that is her group cruise, which is on in 543 days, will take her the group cruise. Her group cruise is like a couple days after ours started, the inaugural one started. So it'll be 2 years roughly between cruises, and she's hoping that we can get enough people from the original cruise onto that cruise as well. So that will be really exciting if we can do that, because then that will commemorate the 2 years. And that would really make my heart sing, because it means that this thing is in good standing in good stead. So there we go. In the short term, Helping Hands for Cruising is growing in strength. We are looking to get some more funds. We are looking to get some more recipients. We've got plenty of host cruises now. We just need some more recipients. Jimmy is saying that 186 days until the booze cruise. You going on that one, Jimmy? Is that final? You will be on that cruise? G'day, g'day. Cruising is fun anytime. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. Just in case, for those who've just popped in, we are commemorating Anzac Day, which was yesterday. It is the 26th of January today. Yesterday was the 25th of January, which is traditionally Anzac Day. And Anzac stands for the Australian New Zealand Army Corps. And basically what Anzac Day is all about is commemorating the soldiers who fell in the First World War, as well as any other war that Australia has had their military forces involved in. So that would include Vietnam and Korea and etc., etc. Jimmy is saying yes, he's booked on that cruise, ready to go. Mate, I would suggest, if you can help it, put some money aside for January 2025. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. Just do it. That's all I can say. It's a bucket list, and you will never have a chance to see that bucket. I mean, get it off the list. So just do it. Just come on down. Look, let me talk to your boss. Let me, because here's the thing, right? You're going to come in contact with your local zoo, and in your local zoo will be some Australian wildlife. Because there's some Australian wildlife, you need a tax-deductible trip to come here and learn everything you can about the Australian wildlife, so that you can take it back home to the zoo and protect those people or those animals, either or. How does that sound? Did that sound okay? Did that give you was that plausible for you, Jimmy? Stream Elements is saying support the channel by purchasing our merch. There is the links to the merches. Currently, these merches will be providing goods to the US market. We do have a store which is in the throes of being prepared right now for the Australian market. Well, if you would have seen the shirt I was wearing earlier on today, which you wouldn't, don't know why, but if you would have seen it, you would know what the kit is that we've got. So the kit will be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, let's just get some more numbers, more people involved with Helping Hands, so that we can get, first of all, I want Helping Hands to be totally self-sufficient. And currently Helping Hands is sitting on 639 subs. If we can increase that, that would be awesome. I would love that to get to the 1,000 mark, and if we can get that to the 1,000 mark, we can then get it to be self-sufficient, because we'll get the watch hours up, get it to 4,000 watch hours, and then we can be self-sufficient. That's the goal, the intention. Cruising is fun anytime. We'll post a link for Helping Hands on our morning show at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. That is awesome. Well, g'day there, Commodore Captain Billy. Ahoy there, everyone. Ahoy there, Petty Officer Sean. The captain is here. I just woke up, looked at my phone, and heard your voice. That will wake you up. It wakes anybody up. You should see how Ilana talks to me in the morning, right? I'll just roll over and go, good morning. And there we go, you see? So I'll wake anybody up. I don't want it to be a nightmare, but Glad you're on board with us. Jimmy is saying g'day to the captain. So, now wait a minute, Jimmy. Excuse me. Jimmy, what is your title at work? You're a captain, aren't you? We've got Billy saying ahoy there, Jimmy. Cruising Anytime is saying ahoy there, captain. Lily is saying g'day to the captain. Captain saying g'day to Lily. So there's a few people that the captain, deputy chief. Aha. So hang on, who outranks who? Does the deputy chief outrank the captain, or is it the other way around? Jimmy is saying I put Tank Billy twofold. Okay. Captain Billy is saying Jimmy has had the pleasure of meeting the captain in person. Yeah, I know, but I still want to know who outranks who. I outrank him twofold. Oh, that's cool. The deputy chief outranks the captain. Woohoo! It's about time somebody put Commodore Billy in his place. Now, Jimmy, no. Cap, you got to take what you got to take. Jimmy is going, damn spell check. Yeah, no, I understand. Jimmy, sorry, Captain, do as Jimmy tells you. He outranks you by at least half a sleeve. Cruising is fun anytime. Is saying good morning to the astute tourist, Sir Jimmy. All right. So, yes. So the more the merrier. For those that are coming in, just as a let you know, Jimmy was promoted from captain to deputy chief. So there you go, Captain. I'm not respecting my elders. That's correct. I'm older than you, Jimmy. Captain, I beg your pardon. I'm older than you. Jimmy's going, good morning. And I believe that's good morning. All right. So, by the way, folks, check out the Helping Hands for Cruising website. It's www.helpinghands4cruising.org. Jimmy is saying he'd like to be an admiral too, Captain Billy. Well, the only way he can get to be an admiral is if I let him be. I don't know if Commodore outranks an admiral or whatever, but hey, I'm not naval and I could screw these up really easily, so what the hell. As I was saying, for those who have just popped in, we are commemorating Anzac Day, Australian New Zealand Army Corps. Anzac Day was yesterday. It is to commemorate all the fallen from World War One through to any other conflict that the Australian Armed Forces have had to deal with. So there we go. Captain Billy J to you, Jimmy. Oh, so now you're feeling a little bit miffed, are you, Cap? G'day, Amy. Welcome aboard. Amy, we've just been flogging your group cruise left, right, and centre, which is in 543 days. And I couldn't say at a better time. It is at an amazingly better time, so that's great. Lily is saying g'day to Amy, and Captain Billy is saying g'day to Amy. So there we go. So, as I was saying, we're commemorating the Anzacs, the Australian Armed Forces, Australia and New Zealand Army Corps, soldiers that were unfortunately some fell, paying the ultimate price, and some came home, also paying the price here to make things better. Okay, Jimmy is putting Billy in his place. Well, well, Billy. Yeah, the fact that Billy cannot handle the fact that Jimmy is of a higher rank. Um, uh, Amy is saying good day to Lillian and Billy. And by the way, happy hump day. Yes, it is, Jimmy. Thank you. It is a great hump day. I can tell you the weather was fine today as we're going into our evening time, 8 p.m. As I can tell you, it was a fine day today. We had temperatures of 24C, which is 24, 48, 50, 60, 70, 70 degrees, 78 degrees Fahrenheit. We are now sitting on, we've just stayed at 18 degrees, which is just under 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was a glorious day, and I can tell you it could only get better from here. Um, yes, Jimmy, perfect temps. Thank you, sir. Absolutely perfect temps. So we're coming to just almost up to the hour. Folks, I want to thank you for helping us enjoy our hump day today. Cookie saying good day to Amy and Claps. I'm hoping that you folk will have an amazing week. Just to let you all know, this Saturday there will be no live stream. I have a work commitment on Saturday. Sorry, this Friday night for those of you across the pond. I will have a work commitment, but I've got a feeling there may just be a video that comes out at the same time. So look to that video. It may have something to do with one of the cruises that we've been on. So Lily is saying have a fabulous day, and hey Captain from Ronnie, and hi Cookie and Ron from Amy. So folks, let me wish you all a fantastic hump day. Let me wish you all a brilliant week, and look forward to seeing you next week. Take it easy, folks, and for those of you that are commemorating, lest we forget, have a happy